Hey guys.
Hi.
So this next video for Waifu Month, Marginal Marginal, is kind of different in terms of tone. It's a little more depressing and it has some vague, like, suicide sort of stuff going on.
It's overall kind of a downer.
Yeah, so we just wanted to warn you ahead of time just in case.
It's also a little boring, but we hope you
Yeah.
like it anyways.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, guys, welcome back to Waifu Month.
Welcome back to Prison Month.
Same thing. We were only sentenced to a month in prison.
Well, I mean, this month is going to sentence us to more than a month in prison.
It depends on the state.
I have no idea. So yeah, again, my mouse is on screen. I hate it. I'm sorry. I can't really do anything about it. We need it for this particular game, so yeah.
This is the third of our Kinetic Novels that Josh picked up in a humble bundle once.
And we'll never have to play again.
I mean, we never had to play him to start with, but we're gonna.
This is true. Yeah, so this is yet another Kinetic novel. It's called Marginal Marginal, which is also called Rain Marginal.
Ame is just rain in Japanese.
All three of the Kinetic novels that we have played have all been localized by Sekai Project as well.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of them.
It's just a company, I think, that does localization or production at the very least. And I know very little about what the hell this is, other than it looks like it was made in an engine.
Yeah, and it's the only one that's not about cat girls.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Her hair kind of looks like it could be ears.
Not really.
It's
just those are just standard anime locks.
All right, so we're just spinning wheels. You ready to go in?
Yes.
All right, let's start this.
So it's probably gonna be a million years, right? Oh my god, is the text always gonna be that small?
I don't know.
But we're under the impression that this one's kind of long. We might not do the whole thing.
Yeah, we might give up halfway through. Rain. Falling from a white sky. White drops of water.
Small drops of water.
Raindrops. This sky had, for all this time, never once cleared. The sun during the day, the moon at night. Neither had ever shown their faces.
Oh my god, it's reverse KaraKara. It's so dry over here. It's so wet over here.
Yesterday, a few days before... Wait,
what? A few years before.
Yesterday, a few days before.
A few years before. All the way back.
Oh, okay. It had always been raining. Okay. It's just, I thought they were implying that yesterday was a few days before.
No.
I was very confused.
It's got a parallel line.
Yeah, there it is. And surely tomorrow, the day after, a year later, it will also be raining. Something that would never stop. An endless rain.
This is where the soggy people join together in their soggy lives.
The endless reign of king main character. In the midst of that, I put my feet into the river.
Partying
like
at that
I always did. It wasn't particularly cold. The water only came up to my ankles or knees.
Or both.
So there was no trance of drowning. Well,
Trance of Drowning sounds like a really great sequel to a Final Fantasy game.
You didn't hear it right. It was Trance of Drowning.
Well, you say it like that anyways, because you're like some sort of secret hillbilly.
I'm awful today. There was no chance of drowning. Even if you drowned, you wouldn't die from it. And this flow, there wasn't a place where it started, nor was there a shore downriver.
It's literally just reverse KaraKara.
In all directions, it was all horizons. It was a river with no end.
It's like really shallow Waterworld. I love Waterworld though.
Yeah,
so I might be okay with this.
My aim was far downriver. My destination was there. Before getting to that place would take many, many years. But now I could reach it in an instant.
How can you call it a river if it's from everywhere? It's just a really shallow ocean.
Or like a sea.
Yeah.
Soon I reached my destination. In the middle of the river, a large pit opened, making a roaring sound. It swallowed the things that had wandered into this world. Most likely, it was there to return things to the real world. I think this place was the exit from this world.
You ever heard of Dogscape? This is Sogscape.
I had no proof. Sadly, there was no way to find out, and I had long lost the will to try. However, only this place was. It was the one place in this world that connected to the outside world.
Oh, so there's a little bit of voice acting. Am I this person or are you this person?
I think this entire time I've been doing this person's voice as the narrator, but you can do their actual voice.
Okay, cool. That's a new dynamic. We're the same person.
Yeah.
That person. He seems to be doing well.
Visible, faintly within the hole, was the image of that person. It seems that he had lost his memory of this place, and had returned to his daily life without trouble. Even if he were to forget about me. To me, he was the only proof of my existence. I could leave in the real world. That might actually be live in the real world, and it's just a translation error.
No, it's the proof of her existence that she can leave there.
Oh, that makes sense. Much better than leaving only tears. Just like this endless rain.
She's like a dream figment.
Let this memory be my nourishment for eternity.
She just lives on the sadness dimension or something.
She's so sad.
Everything has an end. Rain Marginal.
Monday, prologue. Burning sunlight and the voices of cicadas. Even though it was early morning, the sky after the end of the rainy season was almost tragically clear.
I think this is a different narrator.
Oh, okay. Even though it was early morning, the sky after the end of the rainy season was almost tragically clear.
What's the traffic like today, Bob?
Today was Monday. The time was 5:47 a.m. and 20 seconds. The beginning of the most depressing day of the week.
So let's go get our coffee. I
hated Monday. Fuck, our main character's Garfield. I don't do a good Garfield game like voice.
Neither do
Good Garfield game. There's no good Garfield games.
There might be. I just don't have it.
And that remains unchanged even after becoming a working adult. That was why every Monday I went to the office earlier than anyone else every week. Inside the swaying train car, as it started getting hot, I headed to the office on the first train of the day. Even though it was before 6, it already seemed like it was going to be another midsummer day, going against my feelings.
How dare it be midsummer?
Getting off the train and walking along a typical station front street for 5 minutes, I could see a mixed-use building.
And on your left is some other thing? I'm running out of ways to gag on this voice.
When I arrived, I got in the elevator. The company I work for is on the 4th floor.
Nice elevator.
Bob? Yeah, it's actually not a bad elevator.
Do you want me to do the voice?
Nah.
Okay.
As the heavy door closes, I press buttons for my destination. I press the button for the 7th floor.
They won't even let us click it.
My destination wasn't the 4th floor of my workplace, but the highest floor.
What?
That's a bad sign. Dang.
I know that in Japan the 4th floor is unlucky, so they just skip a number when numbering floors, but that sentence was not really constructed.
He's going to the roof, not to his actual office, which is the 4th floor.
Okay.
So he's getting there early so that he can go to the roof instead of go to work.
Anime roofs are always so cool looking.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just a plain nothing, but like it's just a chain link fence, and you can like just sort of look over, and it's just you got the whole roof to yourself.
As long as he doesn't take his shoes off, I think we can assume that no shit's about to go down.
What?
A strong wind blew on the bare rooftop. The morning air was a bit chilling. On the other side of the high precautionary fence was a perfectly clear summer sky from the end of the rainy season. Despite it being early morning, I was soaked in sweat. Well, shall we go? Saying that to myself, I started walking towards the edge of the... Fuck!
Oh, he's gonna join his waifu.
That's right. No matter how much you ran, jumped, or rolled here, you would never fall from the roof.
Oh my god, he's just constantly slamming against it just to test fate.
You could call it a safe zone. A fence that prevented falling, prevented suicide, devoted itself to defending against that, saying, "I won't let you die." However, as if defying that fence's service, I put my hands on the metal wire and climbed.
Oh my god.
I
So
finished
that was
climbing the
Yume-Nikki.
fence, yeah, accompanied by its rattling sound, and put my feet on the mere 30 centimeters worth of space on the other side. We're not in this picture. Obviously, this meant there was nothing in my way. At this point, I was no longer within the safety zone. Forgetting about running, if I so much as lost my balance slightly, I would easily fall to the ground. If I jumped from here, I'd I'd definitely die. Falling from the 7th floor, it was only natural to... Oh, wait a minute, that's the voice. I'd probably die.
I'm gonna fucking die today, Bob.
Anyone who could survive that could only be counted as lucky. Sadly, my luck was only that of an average person. So, while it was almost certain I'd die, just one more step, simply stepping forward. With just that, everything would end. The job I hated, the depressing Monday.
The beautiful
I'd be
lasagna.
free of them. You shouldn't make jokes when it's this severe. I'm
sorry, but the Monday thing... Okay, so every so often we eat lasagna in this household, and we always talk about how much we hate Mondays when we eat the lasagna.
We do hate Mondays, though.
I don't actually... I'm Monday neutral,
Mondays.
but I'm extremely lasagna positive.
I'm legitimately anti-Monday. I couldn't do it. The reason being, it wasn't as if I wanted to die. Then I should turn right around and return to the safety within the fence, right? But there too was hesitation. Because even though I didn't want to die, I also did not want to live. I'd be wrong to say they were the same, to want to die and to not want to live. They were not the same, similar, but not equal. Even if I were tired of living, I hadn't yet lived long enough to want to die. This is the most depressing thing I've ever read in this voice.
That's lovely
Jesus.
weather. And now let's go over to what else goes on the news.
Sports.
Yeah, let's go see what's going on in sports. Yeah. And then it just zooms over to the other side and it's whoever isn't Bob.
It was simply that there were mostly painful things, sad things, and living had become stained with distaste. Ugh. While I was a student, things were still fine. Even if there were bad things or painful things, I could see what the cause was. No matter how much it bothered me, if I knew the cause, then I just had to overcome it. Even if I couldn't overcome it, there was hope. Maybe someday I could even look forward. But now that I was an adult, things were different. There weren't clear causes or reasons. There were too many things where no one or nothing was at fault. I learned that this world, that reality, was full of things that can't be helped.
This guy sounds like he's making a lot of mountains out of molehills.
It's a depression thing. That's kind of how that works.
I know. But, like, from the outside, like, as a narrative, it's, like, kind of like, I mean, you could show more than tell.
Just saying.
I mean, it's a kinetic novel, so it doesn't actually show much, but yeah.
Those small pains would, like body blows in boxing, slowly, steadily build up. I guess it's enough. With a light exhale, I once again started climbing the fence. I looked at my watch. It was 6:50 a.m., around the time that people would start coming. Without wanting to die, but climbing the fence like this, an observer would probably think that it were a meaningless act. However, to me, there was a little bit of meaning. To put it in words, it was insurance for the heart. If I came here wanting to die, I could do it at any time. It was a way to reconfirm that, and a way to maintain my heart's peace. It was a ritual to let out the damage accumulated from the numerous body blows during the day, before I was KO'd.
But wait, there's more.
Done on the dearest day, Monday.
Dreariest day.
Dreariest day, sorry. He hates Monday, but they're dear to him. Using every trick I knew, this was how I managed to keep on living. More than likely, I'd keep on living like this for a long time. One day, someone will do something about it. And if they can't, then they can kill me right now.
Is he just hoping to provoke suicide by cop by, like, dangling off the edge of a building?
I knew that this kind of thinking was a sweet illusion that only kids are allowed to have. But even so, I somehow found myself being passive. As I became an adult, the real world became more and more hollow. As I gained experience points...
Fuck off! This is a kinetic novel. There's no actual gameplay and you tease us like that.
Becoming used to things and numbness killed the freshness and strong emotions. Originally, time was supposed to be fair to all, but it was getting thinner. I'm not really sure myself. Whether this was a wish or a complaint, a prayer or a curse. I wasn't even sure who these words were directed to. There was just one thing that was clear. As you can see, I am a fool.
That was really interesting. And now the man on the street...
Dear God. Elevator or Rin?
Huh?
We
have choices?
Oh my God!
We have choices!
Jesus Christ!
Well, okay, so is going down the elevator just going to keep us with that guy? Is Rin maybe the name of the girl?
I guess that might be the case.
Let's give your voice a rest. I'll be Rin. If that's what's happening, yeah, there we go. Just how much time has passed since then? I'm gonna basically do your voice, but as a girl, but not your news voice. Your other one.
Yeah.
By now, I've become unable to clearly recall. We were raised in a house of priestesses. My glasses are weird.
Okay.
A branch of a noble house that sends unmarried daughters to the shrine. Of course, noble didn't mean the royal shrines like Isono Kami or Ise. I don't know what those mean.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. It was a local shrine under a small, unknown priest. From before I can remember, my older sister and I were adopted and were raised as priestesses in training.
Who let a Pokemon own a shrine?
What?
Who let an unknown become a priest?
Oh.
No,
okay, so
not funny in the slightest?
The word unknown is really common. I mean, if they'd used something more specific, that would have worked.
Yeah.
So I didn't know any details. I didn't know my birthday or who my parents are.
That's a little weird.
No, I mean they were doorstop babies.
I guess.
It's basically you drop the baby at the nunnery. And then they raise the hunchback as their own as penance or whatever.
Fair.
It was also a mystery when and for what purpose we were sent to the shrine to be raised as priestesses. But we didn't think about those questions. We were never worried and never felt any dissatisfaction about it. It was a world where unless you struggled to live, you died. In that kind of world, we didn't starve nor freeze, and were able to safely live out our lives without event. Wait, so it was a world where you die, but they didn't?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're not dead.
Yes.
Plus,
weird.
In my case, I had a kind older sister.
So is she just trying to say that they fed her?
I guess. I was a doorstop orphan, and that was alright.
I did work and they gave me food. I guess that's okay.
My birthday was never. The moon's out today, sis. In a season of long rains, it was a rare, clear night. In a break between those damp clouds, the big face of the moon peeked out. Phew! When the rainy season ends, it's going to get hot again, isn't it? The rainy season's not going to end, friend. Without thinking, the words tumbled from my lips. At those words, my sister shook her head and busily moved both her hands. Which of us is the sister?
I don't know.
You already did like 20 voices, so I think. It's summer, so there's no helping it?
I think that's the same girl. I don't think that that's a new person.
I don't know.
It's her sister moving her hands to try and tell her no, and she's going,
maybe the sister can't talk or is doing something and just waving her.
She's pantomiming.
Okay. It's like, it's summer, so there's no helping it?
And then the sister nods.
Yeah, okay. And once again nodding, she moved her hands while moving her mouth. Huh. That's true. The heat is no fun, but there are summer festivals. Nodding, she happily patted me on the head. I think she can't talk.
Yeah.
Is this just
This
like
is
more
the
pantomime?
implication of what the sister would be saying.
Yes, it will be fun, won't it? That's what I think, she said. Even if her voice didn't make a sound, I could read her lips. I could understand from her expression. If she's moving her lips, then that would mean that at some point she was able to... I don't actually know. I don't know enough about that kind of thing. Even if no one else could understand, as her sister, I alone could.
She's mute, clearly.
Yeah. A sister older than me by 10 years. Okay, so they couldn't both be doorstop orphans at the same time if they're related.
Yeah.
Because she would have been old enough to know. Okay,
I don't
so
know.
there's stuff going on there. The only relative that I had, someone very dear to me. Always gentle and cheerful. I almost said clearful.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say clearful.
Man, you've made mistakes.
I know, I'm not judging you for it.
Even the small part of her that was absent-minded was charming. At all times, she had on a peaceful smile that never broke. However, she wouldn't speak. Okay, not that she couldn't, she wouldn't.
Okay.
Is this a nun thing?
Yeah, what?
Of course, in the beginning, I had thought that my sister was unable to speak. Like how the blind had eyes that couldn't see, I thought she was unable to form a voice.
Yeah, she thought she was
It could be psychological.
biologically mute.
Like selective mutism is a thing. I think it's anxiety related. I don't know.
Well, you can
Teach us in the comments.
You can develop it if you undergo an extremely traumatic incident, an event.
Okay.
But it seems more like maybe she's just choosing.
It could be a
not to
priest
do it.
thing.
I don't know.
We don't know yet. However, just recently I had been taught that was incorrect. Is this still...
That's,
For 333 years, 3 months, and 3 days, you could not speak aloud. Is it a curse?
I think this is the girl saying this, but she is paraphrasing another person.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'd like some perspective characters.
It's a little... Yeah. I think there's only 2 characters in this game. I think that's part of the draw for this.
I think I'd take the weird wobbling anime girls that you can then pet over the fact that I can't tell who's speaking.
I think, like I said, I think there's only 2 characters in this game. This is what I have heard. Mm-hmm. And as a result, if we see any quotes, it's one of those 2.
Okay. That was what I was told. My priester was.
You mean your sister was?
I swear we're sober today.
It's okay.
My sister was, as the sistress, bearing that task. Apparently this shrine had made some prayer that created a debt that had been over 100 years earlier.
Interesting.
It's just a voice-stealing shrine? Obviously, the one they created the debt with was a god, I imagine.
Nobody told me, because everyone's mute.
Maybe. I didn't know the details, but I was taught that in order to repay the debt, a kind of atonement was required. What does this have to do with all the rain?
I don't know.
I had thought that priestesses were just stand-ins for gods. What, is that how it works?
Sometimes.
Okay, I learned something.
It's Japanese Shintoism is very weird about the way that gods are treated, because it's one of those things where a kami could reside in anything.
Okay.
But conversely, if you want, a priestess can be a stand-in for a kami during certain rituals and can be treated
is this
as
like
one
possession?
under. Kind of, but it's Shinto possession is almost different.
Okay.
It's just the slightest bit different. I can't really put it into words, but I kind of generally understand it.
Well, anyways, I learned that they could also be burdened with the role of being sacrifices.
Yeah.
So they sacrificed her voice?
You kind of.
And I could understand the reasoning, but wasn't satisfied. No matter how you looked at it, 330 years was too long. Obviously, it wasn't something a single person's life could cover. Even if my sister spent her entire life, it wouldn't be enough years. Even a child like myself could see that.
Yeah,
so
you gotta go
does
through,
it have to be
3
broken by,
lifetimes.
like, one person, though? Is that the rule? So it's, like, impossible to break it?
I don't know.
Is her talking gonna be what causes the rain?
Maybe.
Yeah, let's find out.
Question mark.
And that wasn't the end of the requirements. The kanji?
The kongi?
Kongi? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
The thing for meals was set to be once every day, as the cleansed medium uttering earthly words were forbidden. Right. She can't talk because she's the medium for the god. So
Okay.
someone else has to do the
Okay.
thing for stuff. In the name of purification, cold water ablutions were performed every day, all year without rest, even during the winter snows. Ugh.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Just what kind of debt was this exactly? I didn't know, and also didn't care.
Yeah, okay, so who did you make a debt with, and what was it for?
Some kind of asshole demon.
Yeah, because this is garbage god talk. Like, who did this?
They really pissed someone off.
What did you get in exchange for this?
Some orphans. It was a debt that we never recalled making. Yeah, why then?
So you didn't get anything you know of.
Yeah. Thinking about it now, it was a pretty idiotic thing.
Yeah, it was.
However, it was all perfectly natural for that time. Just questioning them itself was punished. And I was taught that my sister existed solely for that reason.
Well,
Well, at least she didn't have to do it herself.
1 month later.
The moon floated in the sky. From between a break in the rainy season's clouds, its large face peered through. That night, my sister was gazing at the moon with a somewhat happy expression. It looked almost as if she had accepted her own fate. That's honestly kind of sounds bad.
A little bit.
Like this, I mean, accepting your fate feels almost as bad as the dude just kind of inching to the edge of the building.
Yeah, I think that might be
at least in this case.
I think that might be the intended purpose.
Yeah, there's the parallels here.
Yeah.
That just was so sad. The words just came from my mouth without thought. Hey sis, why don't we run away? The words were half a joke, but also half for real. Because if we stay here, you're right? So let's go somewhere far away together. ...
She didn't say anything.
Even at my words, she just cast her eyes down a tiny bit, and soon, with her usual cheerful face, she shook her head. You like it here, so you don't want to go anywhere? Nod. And anyway, let's go to sleep now? Don't pull my hand. Walking ahead of me, my sister happily returned to the room. And then, simply laying down on the floor, she quickly fell asleep. Just straight on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay.
No futons. We just threw some rocks and some dirt down, called her to bed.
I mean, she is a priestess. It was almost amazing how quickly she fell asleep. Well, if you went and, nudged her and asked her you up, she wouldn't tell you. But in contrast to that charming sleeping figure, my eyes were pulled to the white silk cloth wrapped around her mouth. Oh, okay. Huh. To make sure that she wouldn't speak while sleeping, she would, of her own will and completely naturally, do that to herself. Alright. Watching that was just impossibly painful.
Yeesh. She's not allowed to sleep talk.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for a god, that counts.
Yeah, I
That
guess.
act,
If he's a dick,
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
That act, I can understand it now. Obviously this god is a demon dickhole. I'm sure that my sister must have felt some kind of duty or responsibility as a priestess, as someone who was wed to God. So that's more of a nun thing, I think. But okay. There were probably those who believed in her.
If she's the head of the... Well, not even the head, but if she's the main priestess in the shrine, there is a chance that they wed her to the god, which is not always a thing that happens, but can.
And of course he wants her to shut up.
Well, she's paying a debt, apparently.
Yeah.
It could also be metaphorically wed because she is paying the debt. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Either way, it's kind of weird. But in equal amounts, there was also concern for me. Originally, we had come to be adopted by the shrine without any support. If the two of us were to flee, it was obvious that we would have gotten lost. With a child like myself in tow, it would have been all the more difficult.
Yeah, probably.
Me.
Cicada.
Stock cicada noise from Harvest Moon and also Animal Crossing.
From everything ever.
I don't know if it's even a stock noise. I think they just
need,
sound
the
exactly
school
that
bell
way.
And the crows cawing. And
Yeah. And then the Scooby-Doo almost stumbling on some marbles noise.
That doesn't show up in anime.
It should. Anyways, burning sunlight and the cries of cicadas, a scene you could see everywhere in summer. The noisy cicadas were erasing all sounds.
Yeah, talking about that Scooby-Doo noise, you know there's like 4 of those? I never noticed as a kid, but Hanna-Barbera.
Noise.
Yeah, Hanna-Barbera
Those
had
bongos.
they had a ton of sounds that were just running in place. Like every show had like 4 different ones.
I mean, they did good with what they had.
Yeah.
Perhaps, maybe now. When that occurred to me, I spoke to my sister. Hey, sis. Right now you could speak, you know? I'm sure no one would notice.
She simply nodded her
God
head.
would notice.
Yeah.
In the middle of the chorus of cicadas, my sister looked at me without moving. She's just giving her the stink eye. I moved my mouth closer to my sister's face. Like this. If you speak softly, no one should be able to hear.
You shouldn't do that because I don't think the mic
Okay, yeah, I was
going to
ask.
so well.
Okay, like this. If you speak softly, no one should be able to hear.
I'm just saying, unless you want to move into the mic when you do that.
I don't know. That might cause other problems.
I don't know.
Just once, I wanted to hear my sister's voice. Since before I could remember, I had always been with her, but I never knew what kind of voice she had. I was sure that it would be a cheerful, cute voice.
And she opened her mouth, and Guy Fieri popped out and said, "Welcome to Flavor Town."
Okay, if she does start talking at any point, that's the voice you're using.
Well, that wasn't a very good Guy Fieri.
I don't care. I don't care. Just like her demeanor, gentle and soft. Nothing like my low, unrefined way of narrating.
She has like a horrible southern accent. She's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm from Japan." It's low and unrefined.
There's some good southern accents.
Yeah. No, I meant the bad ones though.
Oh. Well, I wouldn't know which ones.
Good southern accents are good. I don't have a problem with good ones.
Right now, no one else is around. It'll be fine. Even with my continued pushing, my sister remained silent. Finally, with her eyes downcast, she shook her head and moved her mouth. There's never a time when no one is around?
God is always around.
Nod. With a small nod, she pointed to the red torii arches on the grounds. Then her hands waved no in front of her face. Essentially, she was saying God was watching.
Yeah. That's exactly what she's saying.
From the beginning to the end, my sister was always like that. Every day, thinking that she'd be hungry eating no more than a tiny bit of porridge. Oh. I would secretly offer her food, but she never once accepted. And she wasn't just strict with herself. She'd often correct my way of speaking. I mean, you could lead by example. Hey, sis, about that tower.
Smack. Slapping up.
Ow, I'm sorry. About the yew tree. I mean, is it wrong to call it a tower? Is that...
I don't know.
As I was carelessly about to speak a taboo, she quickly hit my hand. Even though my sister only rarely got angry, she would strictly correct me about impure or taboo things.
You're being impure.
Talking about trees.
Yeah.
Unlike my young self, who didn't really understand anything, my sister probably was a very fervent believer of Shinto. I mean, I assume so. She took this job. For example, even if she were the sacrifice for atonement, I believe my sister was undoubtedly also a priestess in service to God.
Your God.
Yeah, I gotta wonder what the translators actually were doing with that.
Was
like, was it like
Kami.
this?
So it would be like a singular god, but rather than saying our god or the god, they just translated it to God, which is
which is a little awkward.
It's not.
And also, is there any place in the Bible where the Abrahamic God does shit like this? I don't think he ever steals someone's voice. He's not a sea witch.
Yeah, he's not Ursula.
Yeah, but I mean,
he'd do
worse. If you owed a debt to the biblical God, he'd just do something way worse than make you eat porridge.
Kill off like 78 children that you had and just be like, these are mine, now eat bears. Or
turn you into pillars of who knows what spice. At every time, every place, whatever you did, God was always watching from nearby.
So their god's just a creeper who's like sitting behind trees and watching little girls.
He just really likes it when you're quiet. Yeah. That was probably what my sister thought, or perhaps what she wanted to believe. So it's Waifu Month, and the waifu here is like waifu to a demon, I guess.
Gross. Yeah.
The following year, late autumn, when the red-stained leaves of the trees began to fall, and when a cold wind was beginning to blow.
Her sister died, didn't she?
Maybe. Around when I was going to turn 10. Unlike myself, who had grown up without any real major illness. Okay. Whenever it came down to this time of year, my sister would lie down on the floor more often. Of course, saying that she lay on the floor didn't mean it happened suddenly one day. Oh.
Yeah.
At first, she was only down once a month. But then it became 3 days, then 5, and before I knew it, she spent almost half a month lying down. Is this why they keep having to reset the debt?
I don't know.
And in the middle of that,
probably,
while making a strained face, my sister would get up early from bed. Her destination was the well in the rear grounds. It was for the daily task of purification, the cold water ablution.
It's probably what's
You know
killing
what?
her.
Yeah. If
you eat almost nothing at all. You sleep with a gag in your mouth, and you go through cold water ablutions
sleep
during
directly on
fall
the
and
floor.
winter. Yeah, and you sleep directly. You're gonna die. Like, come on.
Yeah. Are you okay, sis? When I would run over to her saying that, she would tell me not to worry by gesturing with her body and hands.
She's like kicking her legs and slapping her knees.
While wearing her usual gentle smile, she still never once spoke. The late autumn morning air already felt cold to the skin, and steam was rising from her body. Oh, just bathed in cold water.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just... Well, no, if it's autumn, it shouldn't be hot enough for that. I don't know. Her breath was also brilliant white, her body numb from the cold and shivering slightly. Where's the steam coming from?
She's in cold water. I mean, that's how steam works.
And she'd already been sick without all of this.
Oh, great.
It's a fever.
Yeah.
But if you thought about it, it wasn't a surprise. Without being given proper meals and living this way for many years, anyone's body would break. Even if it weren't my sister, they would clearly be succumbing to sickness. And with that figure before me, I again wound up asking the question I've asked countless times. Sis, why don't we run away from here? At this rate, someday you're going to die.
Someday everyone's good now.
Well, this one's gonna die like at the age 20.
No, you know what? It's a very good point. And we don't even think... Well, no, because she said that her sister was about 10 years older than her, and she said it was right on her 10th birthday, so... Yeah.
There wasn't any particular response. Of course, I wasn't expecting that she would use her voice to reply. But she neither nodded her head up and down, nor shook it from the side to say no. She just, while looking downward, shivered in the cold.